What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of China Update, where I provide you guys with the most up-to-date political, economic, and geostrategic analysis on the world's number 2 economy. My name is Tony. Let's jump in. Happy Friday, everybody, and a very Merry Christmas to everyone listening who celebrates it. I hope you're with your family and that you're getting ready for the holidays. This episode will be a little bit shorter because it's Christmas Eve today, and I'll be taking Christmas Day and Boxing Day off. But we'll be back on Monday with regular episodes of China Update. Yesterday we covered the sudden lockdown of the ancient city of Xi'an in the northern province of Shaanxi after the discovery of several dozen Delta cases. With 13 million residents and an economy representing 1% of GDP, the lockdown has been quite disruptive for the country. As of the filming of this, 49 new cases have been reported in Xi'an and nearby towns and cities today. The order for all non-essential businesses and public spaces to be closed remains in place. Today, too, central government state media is reporting that dozens of officials have been punished over the virus outbreak in Xi'an. In an official announcement, the Central Committee for Discipline Inspection expressed that 26 party officials had been punished for, quote, insufficient rigor in preventing and controlling the outbreak. End quote. This is a common practice when there is an outbreak. We saw this back in October when the party secretary for Inner Mongolia was fired for failing to prevent the outbreak there, and the same thing happened back in August to the head of the health commission for the city of Zhengzhou in Henan province. Some argue that the strict approach ensures that local officials are proactive in preventing outbreaks in their respective regions or cities, ultimately saving lives. Others argue that in some cases it can create an incentive to attempt cover-ups early on in an outbreak or incentivize the overzealous implementation of restrictions on local residents. New cases are still being discovered across several regions this week, including in the economically important province of Zhejiang. With Chinese New Year approaching, the government will likely implement stricter travel restrictions. We've already seen stricter travel restrictions on people wanting to leave Xi'an and Zhejiang, for example, and to enter the capital of Beijing. With the Winter Olympics and the National Party Congress next year, 2022 is a very sensitive year indeed, and local officials will not want to suffer the same fate that these 26 party officials in Xi'an experienced today. US chipmaker Intel Corp has become the latest Western company to be caught up in sensitive politics that excite in both the West and in China, with its apology to China this week sparking strong statements from both the Chinese Foreign Ministry and the White House in the United States. Recently, Intel Corp had sent a letter to suppliers asking them not to use any labor or products sourced from northwest China's Xinjiang. It would later express that this was, quote, in order to ensure compliance with US legal requirements. End quote. This week, a social media campaign against the company in the People's Republic of China began to gain momentum, especially after the lead singer of popular Chinese boy band, the TF Boys, on Wednesday expressed online that they would be terminating all partnerships with Intel. Then came Intel's apology. In a statement, the US chipmaker expressed that its orders to suppliers had simply been to comply with US laws and that it was not expressing a position on Xinjiang generally. The statement ended with, quote, as a multinational company, we operate in a constantly evolving and complex global environment and should adopt a prudent attitude. For causing trouble to our esteemed Chinese customers, partners, and the general public, we express our sincere apologies. End quote. Why the apology? Well, of course, we know the answer to that. The Chinese market is critical for Intel's future growth, representing the biggest marketplace for personal computers and the largest consumer of semiconductors. Last year, Intel earned more than 25% of its revenue from the People's Republic of China. As other Western companies have discovered in recent years, however, this apology may not be enough. At a press conference yesterday, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Zhao Lijian expressed that, quote, the so-called forced labor claim is totally fabricated by anti-China forces in the United States to harm China's reputation, end quote, and that, quote, companies will suffer a loss if they refuse to use Xinjiang-produced products, end quote. Then on the same day, the White House press secretary, also at a press conference, expressed, quote, American companies should never feel the need to apologize for standing up for fundamental human rights or opposing repression. The private sector and the international community should oppose the PRC's weaponizing of its markets to stifle support for human rights." End quote. Okay, last up, let's go through several major economic and financial developments for the world's number 2 economy, as well as one development in particular for China Evergrande. Quickly, if you're enjoying the episode, don't forget to hit the like button. It's the only way this video can be shown to new people. And if you're watching this for the first time, you're getting some value from the episode, maybe consider subscribing, hit that bell notification, and you'll have the most up-to-date analysis when I release these every day. Okay, let's move on. Earlier this week, we covered the record $210 million fine for live streaming superstar VIA, VIYA, for tax evasion. We said at the time that this huge fine should be seen in the wider context of Beijing's months-long financial and technology sector crackdown, and that the targeting of VIA as an example of, to use the old Chinese expression, killing the chicken to scare the monkeys, that is, to make a high-profile example of someone. And it seems that this high-profile example has been working. Since then, there are several reports that dozens of major studios that manage live streamers in China, a massive industry for the country, have come forward to relevant tax bureaus to declare taxes owed to the government. As well as this, today Chinese financial media outlet Xi'an Media is also reporting that 5 Chinese regions have ordered live streaming actors and stars to admit any tax dodging by the end of next week, otherwise face the same fate as VIA. Analysts believe that billions of dollars worth of tax revenue will likely be collected with this campaign alone. The massive state-owned China Three Gorges Corp, builder of the world's largest hydroelectric dam, announced this week that it plans to invest the equivalent of $6.7 billion to build 3 offshore wind farms in the Pearl River Delta economic powerhouse of Guangdong province. Each wind farm will have the capacity to generate 1 million kilowatts of electricity and will come online as early as 2024. On Thursday, according to a filing with the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, internet giant and WeChat owner Tencent Holdings Limited plans to distribute more than $16 billion worth of shares in e-commerce company and Alibaba competitor JD.com Inc. to shareholders, giving up its position as the company's biggest shareholder. Starting in March, Tencent will distribute more than 86.4% of its position in the e-commerce company. And finally, a Hong Kong Stock Exchange filing yesterday also confirms that at the beginning of the week, the shareholding of China Evergrande Group's chairman in its property services unit has fallen from 58% after being forced to sell pledged shares to a third party. This is the third time in recent weeks that the chairman of the crisis-hit property developer has been forced to sell his shares in one of his companies or to stake some of his own assets and wealth to meet some of the financial obligations of Evergrande. Hey guys, I'd love to hear what you thought about some of the updates we covered in today's episode, so throw your comments below. Always love hearing from you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.